morning, and thank you for joining us today. In the midst of chaos and times when the world looks grim as it most assuredly does now, watch for the helpers. You'll always see angels who appear in our midst, and that alone can give us such great hope. My name is Joan Kulash, your Community InRoads host, and this morning I have the great pleasure of introducing you to three very special angels who are on the front lines serving the people during the coronavirus pandemic. Anna Luna, Megan O'Neill, and Jasenia Gill, welcome. Anna, can we start with you, and can you introduce yourself and give a couple of sentences, short sentences about your organization? You actually were on our show maybe about 6 months ago. So if you could just let people know what your organization is and just at a very high level what you do, and then we'll get into the details after we introduce everybody else.
Sure. Anna Luna, I'm Executive Director at ACT Lawrence. We have an organization that was born about 23 years ago. We provide financial education, financial counseling, home buyer workshops, youth jobs over the summer, among other neighborhood-driven activities.
Thank you. Jasenia? Jasenia Gill.
My name is Jasenia Gill. I'm the Executive Director for Bread and Roses Housing. I hope everyone in North Andover remains safe and healthy during this pandemic. Bread and Roses Housing is a nonprofit community land trust that was founded in 1988 and serves Lawrence, your community in North Andover, as well as Haverhill. Our mission is to resolve housing inequality by providing access to home ownership to low-income families, again, in the community of Lawrence, North Andover, and Haverhill.
Thank you. Megan?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Megan O'Neill. I'm the Executive Director of Merrimack Valley Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit housing organization. We work in partnership with families to build the homes alongside volunteers, and our families pay an affordable mortgage for the homes that they live in, providing strength, stability, and shelter.
And then in comes our friend, Ms. Coronavirus, and has completely turned our worlds, both the nonprofits worlds and the people who we're serving, into sometimes a very dangerous situation and a topsy-turvy world. It's impacted both the health and safety of the people in our communities, as well as the health and longevity and safety of our own organizations that are oftentimes a lifeline to the people we serve. Megan, can we start with you and just talk a little bit about how the coronavirus has impacted your organization and also in many ways has been a lifeline for people who have already received your services?
Sure. First, I'm not calling coronavirus my friend. So the coronavirus has put a significant slowdown in our construction. We currently have homes under construction in Salisbury and in Andover. We had 5 families that were planning to move into those homes to purchase their first homes in June. Those families are now all struggling to find summer housing. One is a veteran family who had temporary housing working with the veteran organization. We're working with them to continue and extend that. Another family had seasonal housing in Salisbury. They're working with their landlord to try and extend that. So all of the families who are immediately planning to move into homes have had to rearrange those plans. And we are working, we've stopped most of our construction. So residential construction is still allowed in Massachusetts, but Habitat works with groups of volunteers primarily as our builders. And so we're not bringing in faith-based groups, we're not bringing in congregations, we're not bringing in corporations, we're not bringing in colleges and universities. All of the folks that normally support our construction are not able to do that at this point. We do have a small group of regular dedicated volunteers who are still on site, following all of the precautions. And we have had a couple, we actually have SPS Construction has volunteered some time to help get roofs on some of our houses that we had that we're open. We don't want to leave our homes open to the weather during this time. So people have been helping there. Our restore in Lawrence, from that restore, we accept donations of home improvement materials, refrigerators, kitchen cabinets, bed frames, all of those kinds of things. We resell them to the public, and we use the proceeds to help fund our work. That store has been closed for more than a month now, although we've just started doing some online sales. So that has been a new thing for us over the past week. How has it impacted the families who've moved into homes? Well, I know the families that moved into their homes in January work in healthcare. One is a home care provider, and one family, both parents work in a nursing home. And so while we all have the privilege of sitting here on Zoom talking to each other, a lot of the families that we work with are, when we talk about the front lines, these are families who are out there working on the front lines. All three of the adults in those two households have, actually the mom in both households has been diagnosed with COVID, both have recovered, but it is a different experience to be able to be in the safety and security of their home and have that, so that they're able to isolate, where families prior, one of the families had been sharing housing with another family. This allows families the security and safety of being in their home during the crisis time.
Oh,
So,
yeah. And have you had to let go of staff? I mean, there's that whole issue of keeping your nonprofit.
yeah. Yeah. So we rely essentially on three sources of funding. Our biggest source of funding is philanthropy. So people making gifts to support the organization. We've been fortunate to see continued financial support and some folks who've made additional gifts this year, which is incredible during this time. Our restore is closed. That is a major source of financial support. And the third is the sale of homes, which we were planning to sell 5 homes in June. And while we don't sell them for nearly market rate, having that bit of income would help us. So that it has been significant financially for us. As a result, we furloughed half of our staff in late March. The rest of us took a 40% pay cut. But we did get the PPP funding that you hear so much about on TV, that SBA loan. We received that last week. And so we have returned 7 of our staff to full-time as of right now. And we're looking to bring some other folks back as soon as the governor will let us. Well,
Yeah.
as soon as health will let us.
Well, congratulations on getting the PPP. For those people who don't know, or the Payroll Protection Program,
Yes.
right? And it's been a great hope for many of us, but that only lasts for 2.5 months.
8 weeks.
Actually,
You have 8 weeks from the day that the funds come in to
Yeah.
spend them if you're going to get forgiveness on it. Otherwise, you have to pay it back. So
Yeah.
we have funding for 8 weeks, which is a help. It matters for us right now.
Certainly, absolutely. Jasenia, how are things going for you?
Similar to Megan, we develop housing, and we do have a project that was imminently going into construction, and it seems very likely that we will have to put it on hold for a couple of months. And the impact on that is enormous financially. As Megan said, we received some funding through sales of homes, but we also carry costs up until we go into construction and are able to sell. So a lot of the capital that goes into creating an affordable home is bore either through loans or the organization's direct capital. And so financially, it's been difficult to the point where we've laid off staff. And, you know, that's difficult for a small organization like Bread and Roses Housing that only had 3 staff members.
Yeah.
So when you lay off all of your staff and you're the last woman standing, it's difficult. We too have received a PPP loan, and we're hoping to bring our staff back. But again, that only covers 8 weeks, right? So 2.5 months from now, what happens if the 3 streams of funding that Megan just spoke about, philanthropy, is diminished, which we know will happen. We don't have a project in construction. And for us, the third source of revenue are mortgages. So when we develop a home, we put a second mortgage on on that home, and we do derive some revenue from the second mortgages that our homeowners pay. Now, our homeowners are struggling, like all of the homeowners, right? They're in solidarity with all our fellow Americans. Some have been laid off, some have reduced hours or wages, and that's impacting their ability to pay. And of course, that's leading to food insecurity as well. So we are definitely feeling the strain all around.
Well, this whole food insecurity is a big one, and we actually had some folks on our show 2 weeks ago talking about that. It's really the ripple effect of what happens, where you have to lay off staff. Your staff may then not have the money to pay, or the people who are living in your homes may not have the money in order to afford the very basic essentials such as food. And people who are normally not on those soup kitchen lines or pantry lines now are. And it's a tremendous strain because staff are being reduced, and yet the need in different ways is escalating, correct? So it's really the ripple effect of this tiny little microscopic virus that is impacting the infrastructure of the globe, and it's quite frightening and eye-opening. Anna, do you want to talk a little bit about what's been going on at Lawrence?
Yes, definitely. So we've joined a lot of virtual groups that are focusing on a lot of these themes that we spoke about. The organization itself obviously has been affected. We normally had all of our programs be done face-to-face because we provide financial counseling to people. We pull their credits, we review it, we help them fix it, and we help prepare people to buy homes. So all of that counseling was done in person, and now we had to transition all of it to virtual meetings or phone calls. So our clients have struggled making that change. We're obviously impacted as well by having to keep some of our staff on layoff as well. We have not received the PPP, so we'll see how that turns out. We did apply, and we're waiting to find out. That will definitely be a support for the organization to be able to bring back the staff. In terms of, there's just so much that our clients were coming to us to do, but now they're coming to us for other things they normally didn't ask for. We contacted our clients, and 70% of them are simply asking for food. So to me, that was, a huge sadness, because I thought, well, I don't provide food, so how do I do it? So that, put us in motion of finding ways to help our clients get food. We did that in collaboration with different organizations throughout the city. And, of course, I would have to thank them and thank the center in Lawrence, who've been very, very helpful with the community in distributing food. And I know there's a lot of other agencies doing that as well, but we've been referring our clients to get food wherever we know has food. The second thing people are asking for is support to to find ways to get cash assistance somewhere, because while some of them qualify for unemployment benefits, some of them are having difficulty getting the benefit. So even though they apply, I have some that have been waiting 8 weeks for their first check because there's some problem with their account. There's a lot of issues that we've been trying to help our clients deal with so that they can get empowered to solve their own situations. And it's very unfortunate that we're all going through this, But at the same time, we're happy that we live in a country that some way we can stay home, and we're lucky to be able to continue to do our work from home. And we hope that whoever is affected by the virus can recover quickly. We pray every day that happens. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get through this. It's just going to be a matter of time. And all I can do is ask the community out there to think of ways they can support any one of our organizations. That may be, obviously, the first thing we need is money to be able to continue providing our services, but think out of the box. Think what other ways you can help your neighbor, you can help your community virtually, because that is the way we're going to have to stay for a while.
Well, this whole virtual thing is new to many of us. So in terms of having to pivot, all of us having to learn new technology. But I was actually talking to you, Anna, just the other day. We may have the computers to do Zoom, and that is a tremendous a tool for us in order to meet. And we were hoping, and many of us, to be able to train and help our clients, correct?
Yeah.
But then there's the issue of how many of them do not have computers. They may have cell phones, but the cell phone is not that great when we're trying to teach somebody how to apply for a mortgage, apply for a house. You're trying to teach them how to, what were you saying that you were trying to do?
We were trying to teach them how to upload documents somewhere, like the cloud. And the concept of the cloud is a new thing for a lot of my clients, because they're used to doing everything face to face. When you ask for a document, they bring it to you. But now they have to figure out, how do I take a picture on my phone and then send it someone via email when they're not normally used to that manner, right? So we literally had to teach some people how to do that. And that is the type of thing I'm thinking of. How do we do that exponentially? How can we teach a lot of people to do that? Because it's very obvious that this is where the digital divide is being tested. And now I think all of us have seen it, that despite being in a country that has a lot of resources, there's a lot of people who are behind. And we don't want to leave people behind. We want to make sure they're coming along and doing the things they need to do to serve themselves, to do things like, if I need to apply for a mortgage, can I do it myself by uploading documents somewhere? So this is going to be still an interesting learning curve for all of us, where we are just figuring out, how do we teach our clients to do the technology they're going to have to use in the long term?
And give them access to it. Megan and Jasenia, I know the two of you, also your organizations, not only provide housing, but you provide a lot of support and work to develop community among your homeowners. Do you find that it's been difficult in terms of that kind of reaching out to your clients?
I'll jump in. So one of the things that we were able to do over the past couple weeks was Zoom interviews or Zoom visits with each of our families, the 5 families that are waiting for their homes. And it was just a really nice chance to check in. And, one of our families is a single mom, and her son is in a wheelchair, and they live in an upper story apartment in Lawrence. And so they're pretty much trapped there right now. And so for her, it was a really nice chance to connect and to talk with someone and to share a little bit about her experience. So another of our families is a hospice home care worker. And so she was able to share, just a bit about her faith and how that's helping her to manage through this. I think I've been amazed by the resilience of our families as they're talking this through, and some of the generosity. The family that I mentioned in Salisbury, who's going to lose their housing, so they have a seasonal rental, so it's September to June. They're going to lose that home in June, but their landlord has a home in Salem, New Hampshire, that she's going to rent to them for the summer so that they have a place to live. So at the same time as we're hearing these stories of challenge and difficulty, we're also seeing incredible kindness and resilience, which has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jaseni, what about you in terms of reaching out to your community? Because I know that's a big part of what you do.
Absolutely. That's another important tenet of our mission, is to really support our homeowners once they are in our community land trust family. And so each of our families has received a phone call to really assess what the impact has been on their family, which, as you know, it will be different for everyone. And I think Anna brought up an extremely important point, that this crisis has really kind of pulled the curtain back on disparity in our country. And even the great work that we do still isn't enough. And you can sometimes see that, even though we're providing an opportunity for our homeowners to kind of break the cycle of poverty, generational poverty at that something like this crisis could set them back even further. And so we've been connecting one-on-one with each family, again, to assess what their situation is. We are providing mortgage relief. As I mentioned, we hold second mortgages on the homes that we build. And so for the homeowners that are currently struggling to make their payment, we are providing deferrals and working with their primary lender to help with a deferral on their first loan as well. Again, as Anna said, we are now in a position where services we never provided and don't have the capacity to provide, but we're now in a position where our families need that service. And so we are connecting them to all of the available resources that we cannot provide directly. So it's been certainly a moment of pivoting, but Megan mentioned how resilient the families are. I have to say that about our Bread and Roses housing community. They're extremely resilient, and I know that they'll get through this, but they know that they can count on us in the meantime to help them get through.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to just talk very briefly about these working groups that have been set up, because we have many different nonprofits, in particular in Lawrence, and you know, they're in many communities. They have a lot of nonprofits and they work in silos. There's not that community and working together. And I think one of the beautiful things about Lawrence and the nonprofit community is that is a community, that people do work to help one another in many ways. And Jaseni, I'm just going to talk about what you did a couple of years ago, where you actually gave training to some of the nonprofits who are solely Spanish speaking in board governance, and you gave of your time in order to give that training. Now we're getting into other more, in many ways, frightening and life-threatening situations, and the nonprofits have band together. And there's one of the working groups is actually a housing working group. Is that right? Anna,
Yes,
you?
I'll let Anna's leading that.
Yeah.
Charge, so I'll jump in and talk a little bit about that.
She's so
Sure,
shy.
yes, thank you. I know there's a lot of working groups, and you can find a lot of this information at wearelawrence.org. It's where you can have the most updated information about Lawrence and all the work that everybody's doing. We don't have time, obviously, to thank everyone, but we definitely have to thank Groundwork Lawrence, Heather McMahon, and a lot of other organizations who are helping put the group together. The group I'm leading is the Financial and Housing Stability Working Group. We started out with a group of 7, now we are 52. So it's grown quite a bit with people interested in figuring out how do we help the community with financial stability and keeping their apartments, for example, helping people apply for unemployment benefits so that they can get their income, and then also help people stabilize their housing situation by being able to, if they need to, apply for rental assistance program like RAFT. And it's literally helping the person who's calling us to know where to go to get the service, and even if we have to, fill out the application with them over the phone. Because of what I told you with the technology divide, some people just don't know how to do a process through the online systems that are available to apply for benefits. So we are doing that. We're meeting once a week. I know all the other groups are meeting once a week. There's also a youth group, and there's a food group. I forget all the names, but I believe there's about 6 different groups that are meeting on a weekly basis. And then we come together once a week on Mondays for everybody to report back. I can tell you that the whole group of organizations, it's over 100 people and people who represent organizations in the city of Lawrence and nearby areas. So everybody is working together to help the community as one.
Thank you so much. So right now we're talking about 100 people in Lawrence and more, some who may not even be on those calls, but we have people in North Andover and surrounding communities, Methuen, Boxford, Andover, and they want to help. They are looking for ways to help. So Megan, can we start with you? What do you think would be something that you would ask the people who are listening and watching us today, what they can do?
So obviously, one of the most important things is financial support to whatever organization it is that you care about. All nonprofits at this point are struggling. Decide what you care about and show some support. The way I'm doing that personally is every week I'm writing a small check to one organization that I think is doing good work in our area. My gifts aren't huge, but they are part of me feeling like I'm making some support and some difference in our communities and showing some real support to those organizations. So do that if you can. The other thing that you can do is we are going to need donations for our restore. Our truck is not out currently picking up donations, but decide what it is that, if you have a dining room table set that you're replacing, put it in your garage, reach out to us. And as soon as we are at a point where we are back out there again, we'll come pick that up. Come shop online at our restore now. We've got some great items on eBay. Go to the Merrimack Valley Habitat website and you can click to our restore, and we have an eBay site set up so you can support us that way. Our volunteer director is still working remotely, and she is scheduling groups for that time where we can again have volunteers on site. So any of those things are a help.
Thank you. How about you, Jasenia Gill?
I agree with Megan completely. Pick a cause that really speaks to your heart, and make a donation if you can. For us, I'm sure you can do that through our website. If you're unable to make a donation but happen to shop through Amazon, I'm pretty sure that all of our organizations are registered through Amazon Smile. So if you can't make a direct financial donation, just designate one of our organizations as your nonprofit. And every time you purchase something through Amazon, we do receive some funding that way. So I know that history shows that in times of crisis, Americans rise and lift one another, and we are absolutely living in that moment. And we can all do something to lift one another up. It does not have to be financial. It could be checking in with your neighbor, walking your neighbor's dog, or dropping off groceries for an elderly neighbor. So just do anything that you can to really lift our spirits at this moment, and to help one another is all I ask.
All boats rise, right? Right?
Yes.
We'll help one another. Anna?
I would have to agree with the same. We have to unite. We have to remember humans need each other. So please call a friend, call somebody, check up on them, see what you can do without having to be at their home. For Act Lawrence, I would ask everyone to go visit our website and also visit our Facebook page where we try to keep it updated. Um, and obviously in our website, you can also make a donation. If I can make an ask, it would be to try to support our youth jobs program, where we hire youth to do, to learn their first job skills in our programming that happens July 1st through August 16. And it's an amazing program. It only costs $500 per youth. That is what we pay them as a stipend. So if anybody's willing to donate to that cause, please go to our website because you're going to help fund a job for a youth in Lawrence who really will need it, especially during this time.
So Jasenia, Megan, and Anna, I want to speak to the three of you as individuals right now. As an individual, me, I can't even begin to tell you how you have impacted my lives and have made me want to be a better person in how I go about running my life. So I want to thank you so much. And then what you have done for so many different people. And the comment that you're making, which is essentially all boats rise, that each one of our organizations helping so many people helps the broader community, and we become a bigger we, and boundaries start to melt away, which I think is very important. To the people who are watching the show, Community InRoads works with organizations like Bread and Roses Housing and Habitat for Humanity and Act Lawrence to help to strengthen them. And we do that by providing pro bono professional assistance. So if you have a particular professional skill, it could be financial, it could be marketing, it could be right now social media, web design, any of those kind of things. These needs are going to be continuing to be at the forefront of keeping these organizations solvent in the back office perspective. So please do give us a call. We're always happy to chat with you a little bit more about what we do and some of the organizations that we've had the great fortune to be working with. So thank you all very much. And thank you, Megan, Jennifer, and Jasenia. How long have I known you? Jennifer is your new name. And Anna, for being in my life and the
Thank
lives
you.
of so many people. Thank you.
Thank you all, team and Community InRoads. Stay
Thank you.
safe.
Thank you.
So right now, I guess